Most beginners don't lose legs because they don't know the rules. They lose legs because they don't know what they're trying to leave. They throw at the 20s for a while, hit a few loose darts, get near the end, and suddenly the scoreboard turns into a haunted calculator. Do I go for 20? Do I switch? Why have I left one? Why am I on double three again? Why does this game suddenly feel like maths with consequences? So this episode is not just this is how scoring works. This is how to play smarter legs as a beginner. Where to aim early on, when to start thinking about your finish, which numbers to leave, which numbers to avoid, and how to recover when the first dart goes somewhere you absolutely did not request. By the end of this, you'll have a simple scoring plan you can actually use in 501. Hi guys, if you're looking for an online darts league to join, I'll stick a link in the description for ours, Flight Path Darts. And don't forget to check out our friends at Star Darts for all your darting needs. Now back to the video. Welcome back to the right path. So far, we've covered getting started, stance, grip, and the basic throw. Now we're moving into scoring. But I'm not going to spend the whole video pretending you've never seen a dartboard before. You probably already know the basic idea. You start on 501, you score down, you finish on a double. Singles are worth the number, doubles are worth double, trebles are worth triple. That is the quick version. The bigger question is this: how do you actually play a leg when you are still inconsistent? Because that is where beginners get stuck. Not on the rules, on the decisions. And I'll be honest, darts math is something I've had to work on myself. It does not come naturally to everyone, and it definitely did not magically appear in my head just because I picked up a set of darts. That's why I like keeping it practical. Not memorising every checkout in the known universe, just learning the simple decisions that stop you getting lost near the end of a leg. So let's make those decisions easier. The first thing to understand is this: beginner darts is not about perfect scoring. It is about useful scoring. A lot of new players aim at treble 20, miss into 1 or 5, get frustrated, and feel like the visit was a disaster. But at this stage, your job is not to play like a pro. Your job is to keep the leg moving in the right direction. A steady 41, 45, or 60 is not boring. It is useful, especially if you can do it again. The player who hits one lucky treble 20, then follows it with 3 visits full of chaos, is not really building a game yet. The player who can keep 3 darts in sensible areas is building something. So early in the leg, your aim is simple: score steadily, keep the darts grouped, avoid wild visits. That matters far more than chasing one big dart. At the start of a leg, keep it simple. For most beginners, the main target should be the big 20. Not because you need treble 20, because the 20 section gives you the best scoring upside, and the misses into 1 and 5 are part of the learning. If your darts are grouping around the 20, stay there. Even if you are hitting singles, that is fine. 3 single 20s is 60. That is a good beginner visit. But if your darts are spreading everywhere, don't panic. Do not immediately rebuild your throw, your stance, your grip, and your entire personality. Just notice the pattern. If they are drifting into the 5, settle the throw. If they are drifting into the 1, same thing. But do not overreact to one loose dart. Score the visit as best you can. Then reset. Early in the leg, stay calm and keep the board big. This is one of the quickest ways beginners can play smarter. Let's say you aim at 20 and your first dart hits single 1. A lot of beginners get annoyed and throw the next 2 darts faster. That usually makes the visit worse. Instead, slow down. You still have 2 darts left. You can still rescue the visit. If the first dart goes into 1, go back to the 20 if you feel settled. A 1 followed by 20, and 20 is still 41. That is not a disaster. If the first dart goes into 5, same idea. 5, 20, 20 is 45. Still useful. The mistake is letting one bad dart ruin the next two. That is how a small miss becomes a full visit collapse. So your rule is this. After a bad first dart, don't chase. Reset and make the next dart useful. That one habit can save a lot of points over a leg. Now, should beginners only throw at 20? No. The 20 is a great main target, but you should also learn to use 19. There are two reasons. First, it gives you another strong scoring target. Second, it teaches you to move your eyes and aim without completely losing your throw. If the 20 section is getting messy or your darts are blocking the target, switching to 19 can make sense. But don't turn every visit into a guided tour of the board. You don't want first dart at 20, second dart at 19, third dart at bull. Then a quick look at treble 14 because it felt spiritually correct. Keep it simple. Your main scoring areas as a beginner are 20 and 19. Build control there first. A good beginner leg is built from decent visits, not miracles. So instead of judging every visit only by the score, ask better questions. Did I stay balanced? Did I throw all three darts with the same rhythm? Did I keep them in a sensible area? Did I avoid rushing after a bad dart? That is a better way to judge progress. Because yes, scoring matters. Of course it does. But the process underneath the score matters more. If you throw one great dart and two wild ones, that is not as useful as three controlled darts that keep the leg moving. Think of the leg like stacking bricks. You do not need one golden brick fired from a cannon. You need steady bricks in the right place. Visit after visit. That is how your scoring gets stronger. Now let's talk about the part where beginners usually get tangled. The finish. Early in the leg, don't overthink it. If you are on 501, 423, 362 or 281, your job is simple. Score. But once you get under about 100, your thinking needs to change. It is no longer just, what can I score? It becomes, what can I leave? That is the big shift. For beginners, the best numbers to leave are doubles you actually understand. 40 for double 20, 32 for double 16, 24 for double 12, 20 for double 10, 16 for double 8, 8 for double 4, 4 for double 2, 2 for double 1. You do not need the whole checkout chart yet. You need a few landing pads. Think of those doubles as safe places to guide the leg towards. You're not trying to be clever. You're trying to avoid getting lost. Now, what should you avoid? The big one is leaving 1. You cannot finish 1 with a double. So that is bust. The next thing to watch is awkward odd numbers when you only have 1 dart left. If you leave an odd number, you cannot finish it with 1 normal double. That does not mean odd numbers are evil little gremlins. It just means you need to know what you are trying to do. For example, if you have 41 left, you can hit single 1 to leave 40. Then you have double 20. If you have 33 left, you can hit single 1 to leave 32. Then you have double 16. If you have 25 left, you can hit single 9 to leave 16. Then you have double 8. The key is simple. Near the end of the leg, do not just throw at the biggest number. Throw at the number that leaves you something useful. Let's do a few simple examples. You have 60 left with 3 darts. A beginner-friendly plan could be single 20 to leave 40. Then you get darts at double 20. You have 52 left. You could go single 20 to leave 32. That gives you double 16. You have 44 left. You could go single 20 to leave 24. That gives you double 12. This is beginner checkout thinking. Not complicated, not fancy, just using your first dart to leave a double you understand. This is where scoring starts becoming smarter. You stop hoping. You start planning. Now, real life. You aim at single 20 and miss, because darts likes to humble everyone. Let's say you have 52 left and you want single 20 to leave 32. But you hit single 5. Now, you have 47 left. Don't panic. Your next job is still to leave something useful if you can. Maybe you go for 15 to leave 32, or single 7 to leave 40. The exact route depends on what you are comfortable aiming at. But the principle is the same. Use the next dart to repair the visit. That is a big beginner skill, because good scoring is not just about the perfect plan. It is about adjusting when the first dart does something rude. So when you miss the setup dart, do not switch your brain off. Ask yourself, what is left? What can I leave? What is the simplest next target? That turns a bad dart into a manageable visit instead of a complete scoreboard bonfire. Here is your simple plan for playing better 501 as a beginner. Early in the leg, focus on steady scoring. Aim mainly at 20s, use 19s when it makes sense, and try to keep your visits controlled. As you get closer to 100, start paying more attention to the number you are leaving. Under 100, your job is to guide the leg towards a finish you understand. And when you do get a dart at a double, take your time. This is when beginners often rush, because suddenly the leg feels close. Stay calm, one dart at a time, score early, think late. That is the beginner version of playing smarter 501. Let's cover the big mistakes. First, chasing treble 20 every dart. Yes, treble 20 is great. But if it is causing chaos, focus on the big segment first. Second, rushing after a bad first dart. One bad dart does not need to ruin the visit. Third, not knowing what you are trying to leave. Near the end, every dart should have a job. Fourth, leaving one. It happens, but learn why it happens so you can avoid it more often. And fifth, being embarrassed by the maths. Don't be. As I said earlier, darts maths is something I'm still working on as well. Some players see the numbers instantly. Others have to build it up with practice. There is nothing wrong with that. Slow down, count properly. Learn the common patterns one visit at a time. It gets easier because you start seeing the same numbers again and again. Here is a drill for your next practice session. Play solo 301, but with one rule. Under 100, you must say out loud what you are trying to leave. So if you have 60 left, say, I want 20 to leave 40. If you have 52, say, I want 20 to leave 32. If you have 44, say, I want 20 to leave 24. This trains the decision-making side of darts, not just the throwing. And that matters, because a lot of beginners practice throwing but never practice thinking through a leg. Do this for a few solo legs. Do not worry how many darts it takes. The goal is to understand the flow. Score down, recognise the setup, leave the double, then try to finish. That is how scoring starts to feel like part of the game, instead of a separate maths exam waiting to attack you at the end. So here's the big takeaway from episode 5. Beginner scoring It's not just about knowing the rules. It is about making better decisions during the leg. Early on, score steadily. Do not let one bad dart ruin the visit. Use 20s and 19s sensibly. Under 100, start thinking about what you are leaving. Try to leave doubles you understand. And remember, the aim is not just to throw darts, it is to play the leg smarter. See you in the next one.